Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. I think it's Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. Hope you're having a good day. In case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you and your job and your industry and the markets and the economy and everything else under the sun. We will talk markets. We will talk the economy. We will talk DC. I'm actually going to be talking Secret Service again today. As you know, we are not shy with our commentary on anything and everything emanating out of that place, Washington, D.C. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. By the way, X is getting better, just letting you know. I think Musk has done a good job. If you'd like to email me, just be nice. That's all. The guy who says I suck hasn't emailed me in about 2 weeks. I was actually going to start today with Washington and then the market. So we want to backtrack a little bit, and we really hope you're listening carefully because the potential to save a crap load of money is at hand. On Thursday of last week, we had, for lack of a better word, a one-day melt-up in the small and mid-caps and all the areas that have been comatose. For months, we were telling you about these areas and we've been saying to avoid until last Thursday. On that same day, Thursday, while those areas lifted, the NASDAQ was trashed. In fact, the NASDAQ dropped 18,671 down to 18,283 at the close. It was on that day, and we're very careful about what we tell you here, because if we tell you we bought something on Monday and we decide to sell it on Tuesday, so we're careful. But we lopped off a bunch of our tech on Thursday because we saw this, what we now can consider to be this amazing rotation out of one into the other. Which takes us to today. The best way I can explain it to you is that the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index was down 395 points to 5408. Not a typo. 6.81%. Many names were down 8 to 13%. Many names cracked what we call tops, technical patterns, heading into downtrends of unknown price and time. The NASDAQ 100, remember those? What did we tell you? 7 to 10 names? Well, 7 names were almost 50% of the NASDAQ 100 at the highs. We also stated that they have the most influence they ever had. Well, they are being gotten. And the NASDAQ 100 dropped just shy of 600 points today. Facebook down another 28. By the way, we sold our ad of Facebook at 5:30 on Thursday. Closed at 462. Our original buy we sold in the 5 teens. And of course we originally bought it at 350. The list goes on, and we're going to have one hell of a webcast tonight. We already did one in the middle of the day. Lam Research down $108. KLA-Tencor down $85. NVIDIA down 8. That would be 80 with that split. Broadcom down 13 would be down 130 with their 10-for-1 split. We gave you a heads up. We had no idea what would happen today. And the amazing thing about today, this absolute trashing of just about everything technology, the Dow was up 240 again today. No, not making this up. What did the market do today? Well, United Health was up another, let's see, 14, 71, probably 175 of those points. United Health has gone straight up off their earnings report. While another one in the group, Elevance, was down $32 today. Go figure. Chevron was up 3. Amgen was up 2. JP Morgan up 3. Johnson & Johnson on their earnings up 5. Travelers was up 3. So think about this. The Dow up 243, up 0.5%. Let's call it a half. A little more than a half. The NASDAQ down how much? 2.8. The NASDAQ 100 down almost 3. The SOX 6.7. A gargantuan sea of red. Chart breaks galore, by the way, in software also. Now, I've been getting some emails from the peeps. What happened? I don't know. All I know is on Thursday, they came out of one and into the other, and today they added and confirmed Thursday. Anything AI, remember artificial intelligence, got smacked. Smacked hard. Even there's some utilities type AI stocks got smacked hard. China with a lot of tech, smacked hard. And they really didn't keep a lot of stones unturned today in that area. Just letting you know. The small caps pulled back today, about 1%. The mid caps pulled back today about 1.3%. After coming straight up, 1.4% on the mid caps. After going straight up for a few days, we'll call that normal. But nothing normal, we repeat, about tech, AI, semiconductors, software, and the like. They kicked them in the thingamabobs. And pretty darn good. If those of you that follow the webcasts, we were showing NVIDIA as a template that it looked like the high recently, that big reversal, looked like the high of March 8th when it went through a multi-week correction and down about 22% to the lows. We have no idea if the same's happening here. All we can tell you is at the close today, serious distribution by the institutional crowd in the NASDAQ 100, semiconductor, software, AI, and all that stuff. And now we get patient, let them reset if they decide to, and we'll see how it plays out. On the other end, as stated, big banks, regionals, not all, small and mid caps, though they pulled back today. Oil's little bounce today. Oil prices are up $1.70. And a smattering of other green, but a lot of carnage. A lot of carnage. May I state for the record again, a lot of carnage today in that all-important area. Now, there's one stock, ASML Holdings. down 12.75% on their earnings, down $136 to $932. They're saying maybe that's what did it. I don't care. They're saying there was some noise out of President Trump about Taiwan. Don't care. Our job is to read roadmaps. We've seen plenty of times where things were said that looked to be bearish and they went up. Things they said that looked to be bullish and they went down. So we'll just follow that roadmap. But that is the big story today. And it's a big wow. Up next, more on the markets. Washington, D.C. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
Welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Thanks for joining. On a personal note, my 91-year-old mom is back out of the hospital, back home, and amazingly taking care of my 92-year-old father. They're still getting along. They refuse to go to assisted living, and they're taking care of each other. My brother is the hero. He lives up there 5 days a week. He lives 5 minutes away, and he's parked his carcass. He's sleeping there every night. He's now working there. He's almost staying there. So my brother is the big hero. That's all I can tell you. He's my hero now. His favorite show is the old Superman with George Reeves. He's Superman. I don't know how he does what he does. Makes my life that much better. As you know, I'm flying up there. I'm going to say 12 out of the last 13 weeks. I get the same Delta flight at 7:50 out of Orlando, come back on the 7 o'clock flight Sunday night. There are days where I go up there Wednesday night and come back Sunday. And I bring my 4 laptops with me, house them together, and I have my office, and I can do my work very easily. I'm very mobile. But they're doing great. My mom's issue, they have her on oxygen now. She's got this pulmonary thingamabob, and it's scarred a little bit. And when she sits, her oxygen levels are great, but when she walks, not so great. And there's really not much else you can do about it. So now she has oxygen. She cooks for him. It's amazing. Definitely both slower. I mean, very much slower than used to be. I got to speak up when I speak to them. But man, oh man. Take a licking and keep on ticking. So just want to let you know, and I thank everybody for the well wishes. My grandson is doing great. This weekend I'm going to decide on a grandfather name. I don't want to be grandpa. I'm sorry, it just sounds too old. I know, and a lot of you are grandpas. I want a different name. In the running is a Hebrew named Saba, Saba G, G-Pa, GB, which is Gary Bryan. I don't know what I'm gonna do just yet, but we got a lot of entries, and many of you very nice and said if you win the $250, you give it to my charity of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Florida. That was on a personal note. And since becoming a grandfather, I've doubled up my workouts and increased the incline on my incline trainer. I've decided that I've got to create better oxygen for myself, so I got the incline up to 15 now. I may even go higher on the incline trainer, and man, I'm huffing and puffing. In case you don't know, I was a pretty good tennis player in my heyday. And I used to be able to be on the court for 8 hours a day. I don't think I'd last 3 minutes right now. Okay, there's your personal note. Back on point. I love growth stocks. I love technology stocks. This whole year we made our bones there, but we've had to get out tactically. We sold a bunch Thursday. We sold down today. We don't have any tech now. We sold our Apple today with, I think, 14% in a month. Didn't get exactly the high, but just off. And just so you know, we don't want to sell things, but markets dictate for us. And Apple's moving averages are way below. And we had no interest in seeing them get there. We're not saying they're going to. Also, of note, and this is a big import, we're getting closer to earnings. And I must tell you, and we've said this time and time again during our webcasts and on this show, I think earnings stink in a lot of technology names where the stocks just kept going up. And I've highlighted them and I've been like, wow, isn't there going to be some repercussions? Isn't there going to be a point in time where enough? Well, I don't know what's going on this second or why. Maybe this is the comeuppance. All I know is this was portfolio managers saying, we got 5 million shares, take it down to 3. And we need to deploy that. Go buy some Johnson & Johnson. That's what's happening here. Where it stops, we don't know. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, the Dow was up 243 today. 243. Percentage-wise, 0.6. The S&P 500 was down 1.4. That tells you how tech-laden the S&P is. Remember, 7 names, 33%. Oh, it's much less. It's less now as they come down in price. They did come after economically sensitive names today that ramped up recently. That gives me a little bit of a HMMM, because they've been strong, coming up the right side. I don't own any. I can tell you before today we wanted to. I feel much better today that I don't. That's it in a nutshell. Wild swings. We're playing it very close to the vest. We know some very bright and brilliant managers that got their arses whipped in the last 5 days, while the Dow has soared. Welcome to the Jell-O moving all over the plate. It's the best way I can explain it to you. And I must tell you, when they crack something right now, they ain't playing games. There have been some strong names like a Elf Beauty. Have you heard of that one? It's gone from 210 to 170 in 3 days. This is what we mean by cracking. So pay attention. This ain't no hill for a climber. And we're just happy to be a lot quieter in what we do. Because, man, was that icky today. We did a midday webcast and I was going through names. I was like, wow, 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 wow. And I repeat, and this is of import, I don't care why. Some of the greatest technicians, great line, it's not the news, it's how the market reacts to the news. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on that. And whatever else, I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So, let me repeat a little bit the blame today, and we're just reporting what's being said on Wall Street, that President Trump, who is pretty much the chalk to win the presidency now, said something to the effect of 100% tariffs, which, by the way, are never going to happen. Don't believe, he may say it, there's no chance he's going to do it. All hell would break loose, so it ain't happening. And the thought process, he's no friend of big tech. I don't know why. I haven't seen that. Low taxes, less regulation is usually good. So again, when you see these reports of blame this, blame that, No. The great Stan Weinstein, one of the greatest technicians of all time, one of his lines, it's not the news, it's how the markets react to the news. And that's what matters to us most. And I did a scan at noon today. After the radio show, I will rescan. But things worsened in these areas today into the close. And it was not Aunt Mary and Uncle Bob. As much as we like Aunt Mary and Uncle Bob, these were the institutions, get me the hell out of the way. And just a word to the wise. 7 analysts today, and again, we don't take on anybody here. We won't mention anybody by name. And we take no joy. 7 analysts lowered their buy ratings on a company called Five Below. I've never been in one. They have about 1,500 discount retail stores. The stock has gone from $212 down to $76 since March. And now they're getting rid of their buy recommendations. That is why we pay attention. The stock topped in mid-March. At $190 would have been the sell rule. It's $76. And we're saying that because just in case, what I have seen over the last few weeks, because they were strong, because they already had strong buy ratings, what analysts would do, well, I can't go from a strong buy to a stronger buy. There's no such animal. I'm just going to raise my target. So we've had these big, gigantic target raises on all the, those stocks. Well, they're crumbling. And you need to know most of the analysts, not all, will not say a word. They'll tell you the fundamentals are sound. Everything is fine. It'll come back. You got that? we can promise you. We're not allowed to guarantee anything in my business. We can't promise anything in my business, but I can promise this, because this is an easy one. Some of these names aren't going to come back. How do we know? It's just the nature of our beast. Mr. Market. And as we have told you, some of the biggest losers come from the biggest winners, because at the highs, they become over-owned, over-loved, over-leveraged, overbought, omnipotent. Nothing can go wrong until they do. And I always, some of them are already gone. I always bring up Citigroup because it's trading at $67. But it's not. It's trading at $6.71. The high in 06 was $57. It's trading at $6.76 with that 1-for-10 stock split. You got to remember that. So stay tuned. We'll stay on top of it, see how it goes. Hopefully they can repair themselves. But I can tell you, the die has been cast in the near term. How do I know? Got a good eye. Got a good eye. And we know what the roadmap looks like. Money flows went into Pepsi today. Hershey's today. General Mills today. Smucker's today. The tobacco companies today. And I'm still amazed anybody smokes cigarettes. You ever seen that commercial where they show a healthy lung versus a cancerous lung? Most caused by smoking. Man, it's so weird. I smoked one cigarette in my life trying to impress a girl when I think I was 17. I choked on it. That was the end of that. Anyway, so money flew into some of the safer places. Johnson & Johnson on earnings, which weren't so bad. The big Procter & Gamble. The big banks, which, they're great. They're the greatest bookies of all time. But tech, wreck. And I mean it. It was ick. And it's going to have to go through now what we call a process. We heard somebody say it's just a correction, and we expect the second half of the year to be big for them after they go through. Well, they don't know that. That's hope and prayer. We just know if that is going to happen, the first thing that's got to happen is they have to stop going down. And then what they have to do is start to reset. And that is back and fill. Find an area where they definably refuse to go lower. And then the stair steps go up. Right now, stair steps be down, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on. Out of DC. I always got to preface this. If I had my druthers, I'd have two different candidates. But I don't have my druthers. We have two candidates. And it is a binary choice. And I have told you we cannot have 4 more years of Joe Biden. It is based on several different planks. Number one, the media refuses to cover his bullcrap. You remember when the Washington Post did like a dozen pages of Trump's lies? Remember that? And they said there were 10,000 lies. They don't even mention Biden and his bull crap. So any bad he does will be covered up in the next 4 years. Number one. Number two, he's a Marxist. And I don't use that as a pejorative. Notice the big word. I mean it. What a Marxist is a control freak, wants power over you. And we're talking economics here. They will spend into the stratosphere and then come after your money. And he has proposed to raise the capital gains tax long-term from 20 to 44, an unrealized capital gain on things you don't sell, which is insane, 25%. The Trump tax cuts will be sunsetted, and of course, he's lying about it. He says it will not affect people under $400,000, but the Trump tax cuts hit everybody from $1, and you can't piecemeal that bill. They've actually proposed wealth taxes, though they've pulled off of that because they know they have no chance of that. So that's number one. He's put us into $2 trillion a year of deficits, which will turn into 3, and then comes after you. Next, he calls Americans tax cheats in order to go after them. That's the big thing. We're going to raise taxes on billionaires, whatever, and they only pay 8%. That's another lie. Again, he lies out his rear end all the time. Can't have that. Up next, we'll list the rest, and then a few other tidbits. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Next, he's lying about all this. He keeps saying he's done good with the debt and deficits, so we can't stand that. He's out again saying that he's cut child poverty in half, and he pandered to the NAACP yesterday saying he cut black child poverty in half. And the reasoning they're coming up with is because a tax credit, I guess, puts people over the poverty line. That is such bullcrap. I can't begin to tell you. And as I have stated to you, and this is going to be a little repetition, I have been on the board of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Florida for 20 years. I have been past chairman. I was head of their main fundraising thing. And let me just say this, I have done a lot for the whole thing. But I'm a nobody when it comes to the staff that works at these places. I'm on the outside looking in. I visit the clubs. I speak with kids, but that's nothing. And I speak to staff, and I get all these stories. A lot of these young men and women come from bad situations, whether it's a one-parent family, whether they are down on their luck, financially. There's a bigger list. You do not take a child out of poverty because of a freaking tax credit, and not one damn journalist asks the question of Joe Biden, so how did you take a child out of poverty? Can you show me one? This sickens me. Why? Because our staff, and by the way, anybody who works with children around the country in any organization, it pisses all over the hard work of these people to help out young men and women at some risk. And the only way to get these kids out of poverty, hard work, education, mentorship, leadership skills, parentage. It is a known fact that the one-parent family, it's much tougher on, especially without the father. Damn, I wish I was in those debates when he said that. Then there's Afghanistan. I saw Joe Biden say how much they care about women because the Republicans don't. He has left the Afghani women for dead after just taking some people out of there, besides other crap on the Afghanistan front. And then the border that the freaking media said nothing about for 3 years while he opened it wide. And anybody, anywhere could come in, where they actually admitted, oh yeah, we don't know where they are and who they are. They had the head of Homeland Security day in and day out saying, oh, it's secure. And then about 6 months ago, when their poll numbers on immigration were less than root canal and jock itch, all of a sudden the immigration mattered, and then they blamed the other side. Do you know what the cost is to some of these cities? Do you know some of these cities are housing these people that have come in and paying for everything? Food, housing, healthcare, schooling, the works, and ignoring homeless veterans on the street that I see every day walking the streets of New York City, and the media says squat. Now, I don't know what Trump's going to do in another 4 years if he wins. And you know I'm no fan. I like the lower taxes, less regulations, and get the hell out of our way. But, you know, there's a lot of other baggage. But I do know what Biden's going to do. And I'd say it to his face. I'll never have the chance. What else happened today? Adam Schiff came out and said Biden needs to step down and not run. You don't know who Adam Schiff is? He's running in California. By the way, he's running against Steve Garvey. He used to play for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he's very worried about winning or losing, so he's out now. But leave no doubt, Adam Schiff is a beard for Pelosi and the rest. They do want him out. And 6 months ago, I just said to you on the show, I don't think Biden's going to be the candidate. And I have to tell you, I've been waffling a little bit, especially with the attempted assassination. I don't think Biden's going to be the candidate still. And I'm pretty sure, mark these words down, they're going to have to make a move in the next couple of weeks. They're going to have to make a move in the next couple of weeks. Watch. We'll see. Next. Everybody's now agreeing about what I said about the attempted assassination. And I take no joy in saying this because this woman was with the Secret Service for a very long time. She's just another lying sack. She's on TV being asked questions on how did you not put somebody on the roof? Oh, it was a sloped roof. What kind of bull crap is that? When you're out and your number one job is to protect. Do you know there's a big slope roof at the White House and they stand on it? So the head of the Secret Service nauseates me also. Last night, I watched the head of the Teamsters at the Republican convention. Wow. In case you don't know, the unions and Republicans are like the mongoose and snake. But they were reached out to because there's this talk about who's for the worker and who's not. Another big lie. Good to see. We'll see how it plays out. Anyway, you know where we stand on today. Wish I had better news. I'll be on with Varney and Company 10 a.m. tomorrow, Fox Business Network. Check that out. You all have a great evening. You all drive carefully when you get home. Do like we do, quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. I need some sleep. My dog woke me up at 4 a.m. Good night, all. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.